Everything in real estate is about leverage. That's why real estate creates more millionaires than than any other asset group or investment group, because of leverage. Now, what do we mean by leverage? Well, let's talk about leverage in your time. Leverage in everything you do. Remember I said up front, most people approach real estate, they want to get involved in wholesaling houses, that's fine. That's great. But they start every day is a new day. They have to start from scratch every single day. And so let's be more strategic with regard to this, and let's leverage your precious time, because I know if you're like me, you're starting off on a part-time basis. Most of you are starting off on a part-time basis, and I hear people complain about, I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, first of all, you do have the time. You're just very non-strategic in how you use your time, with all respect, with all due respect. And so the one thing that got me started into apartments is because when I looked at how I could spend my time, one of the things about apartments is that they're valued based upon profit and loss rather than comps. You know, when we have to evaluate a house, it's based upon comps, so there's a little bit of a subjective process. I liked the ability that all I need to evaluate an apartment deal is financials. You give me a profit and loss statement and a rent roll, and I'll evaluate any apartment deal across the country, sight unseen. I don't need to see it, which meant I could be evaluating deals at night on my own time. There's no driving for dollars. I don't need to see these properties to evaluate them, and I could make offers from my desk or my kitchen table across the country on apartment deals. Evaluating apartments is exactly the same as evaluating a business. It's all based upon the net operating income. The higher the net operating income, the more it's worth. And so that's how we evaluate deals, and this is why I found it very strategic use of my time, because when I got started, I was basically working 60 hours a week, very high demand job, and it was the kind of job that if I missed my quarterly numbers, I got fired. And I didn't like that kind of pressure, and I didn't like that risk it put to me and my family, so one of the reasons I started looking into real estate for the first place was to build my plan B, and that's how I discovered apartments. And the other thing about apartments is that you're not limited to your own backyard. You can choose any markets nationwide. And you want to get to the point where you're choosing the hot markets. If we're going to be building a business, let's build a business on an area that's in demand. So we got apartments are in demand. Let's find the markets that are in demand and focus on apartments in the hot markets that I can evaluate from anywhere across the country and make offers anywhere I've got a fax machine or a computer. That's what I mean about being strategic with our time. And the other thing about apartments and leveraging our every activity, we can scale up. Now, you can start with small apartments, and then you can scale up to do lots of small apartments, or you can then scale up to mid-size and large apartments. You know, I've done deals everywhere from 3 units to nearly 300 units. And it's all the same. And the reason I encourage small apartments as a place for people to get started is because, what I was saying earlier, they close fast. There's lots of buyers. The buyer groups are easily defined. And even if you want to buy one to hold on to, the amount of money you need to raise is a relatively small amount. You find one IRA investor, you're in business. Because it's that critical first deal that we want to get you to. But once you start down this path, you're leveraging everything that you do.